Welcome back. We're in our last week of the Blackbird Oracle read along. I've had such a great time and I hope you have too. This is our last time to talk about some chapters, and I'm setting them up for you today, setting you up for the big ending. And this is week 11, and we're looking at the final two chapters in the book, which are chapters 26 and 27. So, there's some pretty big plot twists in these two chapters that you might not see coming. So it's kind of hard for me to set it up, except to remind you of the question that the ghost of Emily Mather posed to Philippe de Clermont. What's going to happen next? And he says, endings, beginnings, change. I don't know if you've noticed this about my books. My books don't really have endings. The endings are sort of beginnings that forecast where we might be going next. And that's true for this book, just as it was true of Discovery and Shadow, and even the Book of Life and Time's Convert, and the Blackbird Oracle is just continuing in that tradition. I don't like teasers and I don't like spoilers, and it's not even that I want to give you a cliffhanger of an ending. It's just that for me, the story is a really big arc in which I'm telling you a tiny little wedge of that arc. And so I already know what's coming next, right? I know what the next words are that you're going to read. And therefore there's a kind of way in which it's not really a cliffhanger, it's foreshadowing in a weird way. So as you go through these two chapters, you might be fun for you to just make up a list of here are the top 5 things I think are going to be the next thing she tells us in the first chapter of the next book. I will tell you that there is something going on in these two chapters, and it's been going on for a couple chapters beforehand. The plot twist of the ending may very well overshadow a much more significant thing that's been burbling along in the background that you may not have noticed. So don't just go for the obvious things, go for the not so obvious. Oh, this is probably not it, but I did notice blank, right? That could be it. I'm just gonna tell you. And the action of these chapters takes place around Diana's birthday, and it involves the examination of the children by the congregation, the first official encounter between Diana and Matthew's children, their Brightborn children, and the congregation. So we all might have a slightly different sense of these chapters if you read the book last summer from this summer. I think for many of us, we're entering a time where there's an awful lot of big, powerful institutional involvement in our private lives. And when I was rereading them, I was thinking, man, am I an oracle? Did I foresee all of this? No, I'm a historian, so I think I probably smelled something in the water that made me a little bit perturbed. But I think that we all might read these chapters differently in the light of current events and the light of where we find ourselves, and in light of the questions we might be asking about how much do we actually want an old institution, be it the congregation, the Supreme Court, the presidency, a monarch, I don't know, Congress. How much do we want them involved in our own personal decision making? So I'm looking forward to all of your reactions to that. Of course, I'm really excited to have your reactions to the, oh my God, didn't see that coming thing. And I feel like the Blackbird Oracle was one of those books that had some of the most fun chapters I've ever written. The Proctor potluck on Midsummer was one of the most wonderful things I have ever had to write. At the same time, there was some darkness in this book, and it was a darkness, yeah, I always find it difficult to delve into Diana and Matthew's shadows and bring it to the page. So, there are plenty of shadows in this book as well, and plenty of omens and signs and things to interpret and chew on. What I'm going to ask you to do is to share what some of your aha moments were for these final 2 chapters. It's a spoiler-free zone, so if you've not read the chapters, don't read the comments until you have. Please just let us know what's on your mind. Let me know what's on your mind. And whether anything in this book has made you curious. Have you done your family tree and you've never done that before? Have you interviewed an elder? Did you plant a pot of flowers? Did you make a memory bottle? Did you buy yourself an American Girl doll? What is it that this led you, to go down a path of? Did you start doing tarot and oracle cards, right? Whatever it might be, I'd love to know what kind of historical or craft, material, spiritual things this has kind of led you to get interested in and have questions about. And if you want to share your thoughts about what the next chapter is going to bring, the next chapter after chapter 27, right? It'll be labeled chapter 1, but it'll be really chapter 28. Although probably chapter 28 is something more like chapter 180 something. So anyway, not to be overwhelming, but you might, if you want to share that with us, that would be great too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody a moment, right? Because it's the end of the summer. People are moving. People are going away to school. People are having an empty nest for the first time. There's the last of the summer holidays. There's the whole back to school thing. So here's what we're going to do. This is your little moment of Zen. Read your chapter, have a think, put some comments in. I'm going to be back after the first full week of September. We haven't picked the date yet. And I'm going to go through some of those questions. I'm going to do a live where I have some of those questions. We can talk about any more questions. And yeah, it'll be fun to kind of have that live as a real sort of wrap up. So that's where I'm going to leave you with chapters 26 and 27. If you haven't read them yet, to paraphrase the great Betty Davis, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.